It's day 3 of the festival. There's no time to waste. There's a lot to get through. Simon Ralph, chairman of the Festival Board of Directors, introduced Bill Nicholson on the Thursday morning, first day of the professional days. Nicholson gave a very important speech, I think, which sparked a lot of lively debate about how writers' role is going to change in the future, what we need to do to retain control over our professional lives. Yes, we need to change the culture in which we work, but we also need to change our own attitudes to the way we do work. Following that, and inspired by that, Pearson chaired a writer's health check session. David Pearson there, Valentin Tubau of the Spanish Screenwriters Guild, Paul Brett, Prescience Finance, David Kavanagh, the Irish Writers Guild, and Olivia Hetreed talked about a number of issues surrounding contracts, contract law, writers' rights, including the idea that you sell your rights across the universe in perpetuity. More on that later, but they did kiss and make up afterwards, and afterwards we got that rare glimpse of the sun, and we could all do proper festival-y things like hang out in the sunshine, talk and commune in the wonderful Manor by the Lake gardens, sit on benches and discuss the way the world works. I was also thinking of doing a mini featurette on these iconic evergreens that line the Manor by the Lake gravel path, but I don't know what they're called. So there. David Kippen, newcomer to the festival, introduced his Schreiber theory, a debunking of the auteur theory, chaired there by Tony Grissoni in room 2. Bit of networking going on over lunch, interview with Jake West on a separate part of the site. I will do a separate video diary on the Code of Practice sessions, which were chaired by Rob Crate over the last 2 days of the festival. In the afternoon I danced about the many seminars taking place. Simon Vanderborg spoke to a packed room 1 about scene structure, very well attended and very practical advice on treating each scene as a mini drama. Peter Carlton introduced Film 4, describing it, being very honest, that it's a directors-led company, but that shouldn't deter writers from introducing themselves. Then, blissfully, I watched a movie, the very fine Catch a Fire, written by Sean Slovo, and Simon Ralph chaired a discussion with them afterwards. Again, they talked about the problems of bringing a film like this, a black African film, to market, the creative challenges posed by writing this based on true events and partly inspired by the life of their father. Highly interesting, entertaining, informative session by Raj Pasod on why all writers are mentally ill and how we can channel these ideas of self-doubt, self-criticism into positive creativity. He also talked a bit about writer's block and gave us some techniques for overcoming this. Apparently some writers are bulimic writers. They starve themselves and then gorge on writing. Keynote address in the evening was delivered by Sir David Hare.
I normally refuse to talk about film, and I always refuse to teach film on the grounds that I really don't know anything. And I don't mean that in a mock, humble sense, but I mean it in the sense that film is much the most volatile and fragile and elusive art form that has ever been invented. And if you think about what it is, namely that a group of people get together, commonly projecting in their minds something which does not yet exist, but of which each of them has a subtly different idea, and have to negotiate in their heads what the end product will be between how each one of them, actor, cinematographer, director, writer, see it and agree on it. And if you add to that the fact that the process of making it will involve breaking it down into an infinite number of absolutely tiny pieces, each of which will finally be assembled in a mosaic at somebody else's wish, then you can see that the potential for misunderstanding about what it is you are doing is huge. And for that reason, I've never felt remotely secure. Well,
the wind blew furiously outside, but inside the marquee the weather was calm and settled as Sir David talked us through some of his theories on input, who you should accept it from, how to deal with it when it doesn't conform with your own vision of the script. And now for something completely different, a man in tight black trousers and shiny shoes dancing away. What is going on here? Well, it's the Film London party afterwards, which had a fiesta feel to it. There's the mayor again. This is in honour of the Spanish sidebar that has been running throughout the festival. Lots of delegates from the Spanish Cultural Commission were here. This girl was having a tremendous time of it all. And it did turn into a proper festival evening, smokers hanging out outside. At the end of the day, I was lucky enough to be invited to a supper hosted by the Film Council for those who had contributed in some small way to the festival this year. Some delegates, some speakers, some of David Pearson's festival team gathered to knock back the wine. There's the best beard in the business, Phil Parker. There's David Kippen and his theory. Sophie Ward, just general good fun and a great way to end the third day. Look out for a couple more interviews going up on the interview section, and of course highlights of the last day appearing tomorrow. Sleep tight.